All right, what is happening? Happy Walks of Wisdom Wednesday, everybody. Out here on a chilly day, getting my walk in, and just wanted to, spend a little bit of time with you going over a couple of things that run over in my mind as we do on these calls and these talks and these recordings, videos, however you're watching this, whether you're live or hitting recordings. I appreciate your time here, and if you have anything that hits you in a way that changes your perspective, please leave a comment. Let me know how this is affecting you and what that positive or negative is. All right. So today we are talking about a fairly deep concept. So stick with me on this. But what I want to maybe shift a little bit of your ability to see is the fact that we don't ever really know anything and how we can use that to actually conquer all of our negative emotions. So let's get into this. Today is probably going to be a little bit pivotal if this is something you have never heard before. If you've listened to Deepak Chopra at any point, you may have already talked into this concept a little bit. All right, so I'm going to break it down in the way that I understand it, but this is no way, specifically me making this up or whatever. This is several minds come together, and this is my version of it. So when we talk about knowledge, all right, there are two ways essentially that we can gain what we call knowledge, right? Knowledge is information stored in our head. Okay, now when we look at the two ways that we put information into our head, one is learned knowledge, right? You watch a video, you read a book, you listen to someone talk, whatever it may be, where you take in that information by simply hearing somebody else's version of it, whether it's through a written book or a spoken word or whatever it may be, taking in that information as somebody else's version of it, okay? And we'll use their version as what we call experience. That is the other way that you can gain knowledge, is to personally experience things yourself. So you can either, hear about other people's experiences, or you can have your own. Those are essentially the two ways that we gain more information into our, storage that we call a memory. So now, understanding that this information comes in from a couple of different ways, it's sort of all stored the same, all right? And I have a whole talk that goes over the 6 factors of conscious response, but I'm going to break this down really quick and have you understand the cycle that we go through in order to go through our days and decide what new experiences we're going to have in our worlds, all right? So as children, we have nothing as a memory bank. So everything is new experiences. We do things, and because of that experience, we create a memory. Those memories are what we determine, in our own verbiage, as knowledge. Whether it was something that we saw someone else do or that we did it ourselves, we are taking in information about experiences. Now, once we have those experiences, we try to utilize those memories of previous experiences in the way that we are influenced to choose what our next experience is. Now, here is the problem that we come into. As people, we are very good at trying to prove ourselves right. Okay? We want to be right in every situation. And what this comes down to be is making choices based on the ones that we think the outcome is going to be as we visualize them prior to the experience. So for example, when you go to do something that's brand new, you've never done it before, it's very difficult to visualize what that experience will be like for you because you have no past memory. You have never done it before, so you haven't created this quote-unquote knowledge about what could happen. And that's where a lot of us get caught up, is that feeling of going in and making a choice, the confidence around how easily, how dedicated, how structurally we go into an event is based on how confident we are that the prior vision we hold will be correct to match the outcome of the event. So if you have done something before, it's very easy to say, oh, I believe that this is what's going to happen if I take these steps. So for example, I'm out here walking. I have learned that by walking and talking to you, I don't actually have to look at the ground. I can use my peripheral vision and see these things, and I can still stay on the sidewalk, and I'm not going to fall off and get hit by a car or whatever that may be. But if I had never done that before, I might be afraid. I might not be that confident that I'm able to do this thing of, multitasking, talking, walking, staying out of the road, all that kind of thing, okay? And this is just a random example, but it's the same for every situation. And so when we go into a situation, we always create a visualization of what we think the outcome will come out to be. Almost never is it a perfect vision. There's adjustments, there's tweaks, there's little differences. Sometimes there's big differences. Okay, but the point is, the way that we go into choosing is by trying to pre-create the visualized version of the outcome in our head that we believe we know how it will come down. And if we feel that the outcome is going to be positive benefit for us, then we will confidently take those actions. That's called a comfort zone. This is where you feel like you know what's going to happen and you're able to just go in there without any kind of real worries. Maybe because you've done it several times and the outcome has been very similar, okay? What this means though is that we are trying to guess. We are making this up in our head as to what an outcome is going to be. Now, just because we had an experience with an outcome that came out of that experience does not mean a similar experience will yield a similar outcome. We try to utilize our knowledge and we try to guess as best we can to get back to that same result from similar experiences, similar actions, similar responses in a moment. But it doesn't always play out that way. It can change a little bit, like I said. So we are in a situation where every decision we make is guessing. We're assuming that something is going to happen. But we don't control all the factors involved in an experience. The only factor we get to control is the choice of what actions we take, not the result from those actions. And this is where the real magic happens, okay? Previous experiences do not guarantee future outcomes. And if you look at it in that sense, this is why I say we don't actually know anything. We have memories of what has happened, and because of the way that we remember them, we have confidence that we are probably going to get a similar result in a similar experience. But it's not guaranteed, okay? So, knowing that we don't know anything, then we're guessing all the time. And this means that in no way can you have an expectation of an outcome to be exact. The visualization you have prior to any experience is going to be a guess at best. Yes, it can be an educated guess, a hypothesis. It doesn't have to be completely random. But you guessing about what is going to happen is only beneficial if you use that as a motivation to take the next step. All right? And the reason that I want to discuss this is because we get stuck on trying to prove ourselves right. We have a really tough time when the visualization that we have before an experience does not match the outcome. And when we talk about negative emotions are simply the relay response for an unexpected outcome. I don't care if you're sad, you're pissed off, you're jealous, whatever it may be. Every single negative emotion is simply the reflection of an unexpected outcome. So here is the magic trick that I'm going to give you guys today. with the knowledge that I just gave you, or information we can say, that the information you've gotten up to this point does not guarantee the outcome, regardless of how good you try to guess about it. This means that every outcome is unexpected. And so when you accept that all outcomes are unknown, then there is no way that you should have a continued negative emotion around a response. Just because your visualization did not match the outcome does not mean that you did not gain new information from that experience. It's just a different version than what you anticipated. And this is magical when you get into a situation where things go sideways all the time. You don't control the things that happen during an experience. You just control how you respond, what choices you take as the next action. And so when you get into something, say, you're walking down the stairs or whatever, and there's a toy on the stair. Most of the time when you walk down the stairs, there's nothing on the stairs. So you have utilized that assumption that the next time you go down the stairs, there's not going to be anything. And that assumption is so strong that you don't actually pay attention to the stairs very carefully, okay? And maybe one of your children left a Lego or something on the stairs, and you walk down and you step on it. Oh my gosh, if you've ever stepped on a Lego, you know what I'm talking about, right? But this is that situation of an unexpected outcome that is different than what you planned to happen. I walked down these stairs 1,000 times. I never stepped on anything. And this one time, oh my gosh, was that an unexpected outcome? It's going to cause you physical pain. And because of that physical pain in your foot, you're going to start running all of these things about how you're going to respond to this. Are you going to scream? Are you going to cry? Are you going to start cussing? Are you going to go find your kid and throw him through the wall? Like, what is your response to this situation going to be? Most of it is going to be around a negative emotion in the moment because the outcome was so unexpected. Now, if you've ever stepped on a Lego, it's not the most painful thing you've probably ever gone through. Not to say it doesn't hurt, but man, if you've ever been gashed with a knife or crashed on a bike or been punched in the face by somebody who didn't like you or whatever it may be, you probably experienced stuff that was, a little worse than that. So at the end of the day, this doesn't necessarily have to be the least painful or the most painful thing or whatever. It's an unexpected outcome. And how you respond to it is up to you. This is where you get the control back. How you respond. And this is a series of choices that determine your actions. And so when we take a step back and we realize, man, I did not know that thing was going to be there. My child probably did not purposely put that there for me to step on and hurt myself. This was a series of events that did not play out the way that I expected. And you take it as that information and you add it to your information bank and you utilize that experience the next time you go to walk down those stairs, right? You have that unexpected outcome that creates such a strong memory about the experience that you utilize that in the way that you were influenced to choose the next set of steps related to a similar experience. So the next time you walk down the stairs, you're probably going to be eagle-eyeing them. Oh, is there Legos anywhere? Is there anything else? Are they wet? Whatever. And so in this moment, guys, realizing that your information stored in your head as memories of past experiences, whether it was learned knowledge or experienced knowledge where you did it yourself, it does not guarantee that the outcome that happens is going to match what happened last time. And so if you can take that and step back in that response moment, after the negative outcome has happened or the unexpected outcome, and you start to feel those negative emotions coming up, become aware of them and realize that negative emotion is simply your subconscious trained response that happens as a reaction to that unexpected outcome. And how you continue after that is completely up to you. You can continue to be pissed off. You can continue to scream and swear and throw stuff or whatever you want to do, but it won't change what happened. You can't control the past stuff. So in that moment, you can say, oh, man, this really hurts, but I'm going to be a strong person emotionally. I don't want this to take over my focus. So I'm going to rub my foot, try to make it feel a little bit better, pick up this Lego so that no one else steps on it, talk to my kid and say, hey, here's the situation that happened for me where there was a toy that was inadvertently left on the stairs and I stepped on it and it really hurt me. But when you talk to your child in a way that is informative and calm, they're going to feel bad in the situation. They're going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry you got hurt, whatever it may be, okay? And empathy comes out of this. Whereas if you're in that negative emotional response state and you step on the Lego and you throw the Lego across the room, you start cussing, you stomp up the stairs, rip your kid out of bed, they're going to start crying. They're going to be freaked out. They're going to be defensive. They're going to immediately respond negatively as well. Okay, and so the negative emotions very rarely serve positive benefits. So in that knowledge, in that information set, in that mindset of how we respond, we want to try and gear ourselves into a positive focus, because the positive emotion will then influence the choice of how we act in response to that unexpected outcome. Guys, you can't avoid the unexpected outcomes. You don't control the outcomes. They're all unexpected. So all you have to do is understand that your purpose in life is to respond to these things in a way that gives you a little bit closer outcome to what you thought would be a positive thing. Oh, maybe throwing this at the wall isn't going to help. You know, I can just talk to my kid and walk it off, and, you know, in 10 minutes you're going to forget about the thing, or an hour or whatever it may be, and you move on and it's no longer a big deal. Or you can choose to drag that through your whole day and let that negative emotion control you over and over and over and affect the rest of your day's experiences. And again, stepping on the Lego is only one situation where, you know, we can initiate a negative emotion based on that unexpected outcome. We're faced with these outcomes over and over and over every single day, all day long. And the only part that we get to control is how we respond. And the emotional state that we carry into that choice pattern, the structure in which we make decisions about how we are going to respond, are heavily, heavily involved in the influence. So if you are looking for a way to utilize your ability to control emotion, first of all, realize that you don't know crap. You don't actually know anything. You have a bunch of memories that help you try and influence a better visualization of how things may go down. But when you let go of that need to be right, then it's okay to let go of whatever outcome comes to be in the moment, and you can think through it and shift your mindset to a positive state that allows the response to that unexpected outcome to not trigger more unexpected outcomes and more negative emotion and snowball the factor. Never one time when you get pissed off or envious or jealous or sad or whatever it may be, does that negative emotion state solve the problem? Or does it create a better situation? Now, sometimes talking about negative emotions can create a benefit when you're talking about a direct interaction from person to person, but a lot of the negative outcomes probably just won't happen again. They may be a one-off situation, and they may not even involve anybody else. You could just be walking through your bedroom and stub your toe on the corner of your bed. Nobody else was there. You were just too close to the bed. You can get pissed off and scream and throw the bed upside down or whatever. It's not going to make your toe feel better. It's not going to make you not do it next time. So change that mindset in that response mode of how you go about reacting to each interaction, each experience, each situation. And when you start to condition yourself to focus on a positive outcome through emotion, then you get more control back in your world. Again, guys, you guys are never going to control the outcomes of what happens in your world. You simply get to control the way that you respond. So let go of this thing of, I know a bunch, I'm super smart, I'm going to control any of that. It's not within your field. Focus on controlling how you physically and emotionally respond to any outcome, whether it's positive or negative. And if you can lean towards that positive side of things, you're most likely going to set yourself up for more successes in the future. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, if this is something that hits you in a positive way, or even in a negative way, it's something that got into your mind and started creating more thoughts for you, let me know about it in the comments. I'd love to have these discussions. So appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.